It's week 5 and both the idle and attack animations are in polish mode. I'll go over the feedback that I received and some of the work I did this last week. Now here's what I left off with last week. Probably the biggest takeaway I've got in terms of feedback was the timing is working pretty well now, but I lost that hunched over feeling that was working from the start. So one of the things to help that hunched over feeling was, here if I turn my comments back on, talked about taking the chest and rotating it down some, and taking the hips and rotating it up some. And then some of the other notes, if I'll just scroll through these here, the axe was kind of linear as it was returning on the exhale, so I need to look at ease ins and ease outs. And that some of my curves are probably a little too flat, so I need to go back and look at the curves on the inhale, this top of the curve here, because in some cases, and particularly I think it was the head, it looks like it kind of hits a wall here. It just kind of stays up there. So I need to make sure that I don't have that totally flat curve. Okay, so I take another pass at the idle, and what I get back from this is that it's still not hunched over enough. I still need to push that hunched over feeling is the big hit again. Also, the head is maybe a little too offset now. It's not reacting to the rest of the body. It's almost leading the body. And then I got a note here. If I pause this, we'll turn these comments back on. See if I can find it. There it is. This shoulder over here, screen right, his left shoulder, seems kind of locked, at least in this view. So I need to take a look at that. And here's where I am now. Addressed the hunched over feeling, got it pushed a little bit more. I fixed the head offset so it feels like it's reacting more than leading. And I've got that screen right shoulder moving. Now, of course, I also have the attack animation, and the feedback I got on this is that I can really feel the heaviness of the axe now. But probably it seems heavier in some places and lighter than others. Particularly, I think it's right here. It feels really heavy as he's pulling it back here. You know, he pulls it in and then pauses and then really yanks it. It feels heavier there than it feels anywhere else. If I turn on the comments, I think you can see all the tick marks there. So I've got a ton of comments on this one. So probably some of the big hitters are that I needed to adjust the camera, maybe show less floor and rotate it up a little bit so that we see more of that arc of the axe as it's coming down. And on this antic here, you can see his screen left leg here. It kind of gets to an uncomfortable angle. It's almost locked as it's coming in. So the suggestion was probably we need to just take the cog or the hips and move them a little bit more forward throughout this whole motion, and that should help take care of that. And then the last big hitter was probably this settle here at the end. A couple things. The axe, we have that weight problem, but at some places it's going too slow and then it's suddenly super fast, so I need to kind of even that spacing out. And then the body itself still doesn't have a lot of overlap or drag and follow and that sort of thing, so I needed to incorporate that. And then beyond that, all the polishy bits, like the fingers and the hands, making sure that they're solid where they need to be solid and that there's arcs where the hand comes off the handle and comes back and that sort of thing. And here's where I'm at now. Addressed all of those notes, got things working pretty well, but now that I'm watching it, I can see one thing that was mentioned in my last review that I didn't fix is this whole getting up here. Particularly you can see it on this back leg. The whole getting up here thing, that back leg is really linear. Like there's no ease in, no ease out. It's just like there it is, there it is, there it goes. And really, if you watch that whole thing, his whole body is pretty linear going up. So one thing I think I do still need to address, I'll try to do that before I turn it in, is maybe if I just bring down the center of mass here for that whole entire move from here all the way up to here, try to keep it down as far as possible for as long as possible. That should help that feeling a little bit. That should help get that feeling a little bit better. So that pretty much takes care of the idle and the attack animation. Beyond that, I've got a few ideas for some new shots, probably pantomime, and I plan on shooting reference for that to get feedback for it this week. And if all works out, I'll be blocking out a new shot or shots this coming week. Thanks for watching.